I'm Hazel Findlay and I'm a rock climber.
My name is DesLauriers and I'm a professional ski mountaineer.
I'm Krystle Wright and I'm an adventure photographer.
I'm Amber Valenti and I'm with the Nobody's River Project.
Jen Olson, mountain guide, teacher, air traffic controller, cook.
My name's Jennifer Kingsley and I'm a writer, a radio producer, and a naturalist.
I can count on two hands now the amount of female photographers that I know around the world. And when it comes to expeditions, well, that becomes one hand.
I think that the storytelling space has even less women in it than women who are out doing these expeditions and doing these long committing kinds of trips.
There's a huge part of self-belief, like believing that you're capable, because I think a lot of these things require masculine skills, and so then we say, oh, I'm not capable of that.
We are physically weaker, that is true. But I do think there's some mental barriers for women as well.
Coming to this festival in some ways is a release from that, and in some ways it's a reminder of that. When you look around the room, it's still happening.
I like to give a little bit of credit to my mom, who early on, when I was a little kid, she told me that she always wanted to be a sports news broadcaster, but she didn't because it wasn't accepted for her gender at that time. And so in the same breath, she would tell me, don't ever let anybody tell you there's something you can't do.
I think growing up, I didn't even know what a mountain guide was, so until I even learned that existed, I wouldn't have known that I wanted to do it. So I think getting that exposure and believing that you could see yourself in that role, even though there's no one else there that looks like you doing it.
When I was 22, I think, I went on a 40-day canoe trip with my best friend. We wanted a trip that was long enough that we could forget about the beginning and forget about the end and just have this rhythm in the middle. That was a new rhythm. And I think after doing that, even though that trip we did everything wrong, it was a trip we didn't bring enough food, I got giardia, we lost a ton of weight. It was just the best trip ever because it was that moment of yeah, I can do this.
I think when I took my first big fall, it was a realization that I can really push myself in climbing without being too scared. And I completely failed on the route. I took loads of falls, but it kind of made me realize that everything worked.
So sometimes I think you do have to recognize the dynamics and just be nope, this is my turn.
Now, the work that we're doing as women is to figure out our own internal barriers so that we can be the powerful, amazing people in the world that we want to be. And that is moving our culture forward. It's more than just this project or Krystle's career as an individual. We're doing this bigger work as women right now. And I love it when dads come up to me and say, I can't wait to show this film to my daughter. I get just so excited. Or, or husbands say that about showing it to their wives. I think we're, as women, far more supported than we realize now.
One of my most favorite things about touring this book has been the number of young women who come up and seek me out at events, I've had 9-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 60-year-olds, to realize that I could be somebody that can share in that experience, for people who maybe don't have someone like that in their life is very motivating. It's just yeah, you got to keep going because there's a need.